Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets every Tuesday night. We've been off for the last couple, as people have had busy schedules with things, but we are back once again. The team has just arrived via plane shift on the island of Stormreef, a place that they left 4 days earlier. Telling Tatsuya Lumos, Raiken's older brother, that they would be headed to Sudaran to negotiate with the Lich Tresnor for the Scale of Widemir to bring to him so that he may finally raise the White Dragon and then kill it to fight Tiamat. Of course, all of this was a fabrication. They didn't do that at all. They fucked off to Everwatch, and then Daiko Seltharis to wrangle in some more allies and prepare a bunch of spells. What were those spells for? Those spells were to entrap and kill Tatsuya so that they wouldn't have to give him the scale. Those petty bastards. And their plan worked. They were able to entrap and kill Tatsuya, not once, but twice, as they learned very abruptly and greatly to their own dismay that he had a pact of sorts with Tiamat herself, which in his words he had wanted to use to destroy her, if only he had the time to do it. Unfortunately, the party stopped him. The party killed him. And by the party, I mean Vendar. Vendar, who made the ultimate sacrifice, utilizing his brand new toys he bought off the black market just the day before, pulled out some nitroglycerin and blew himself and Tatsuya, well, not sky high, so they're in a demi-plane, but, very nearly to the celestial plane. Whereupon, the only way for the party to immediately resurrect their friend from his not shattered remains, obliterated, disintegrated, vaporized remains, was to use reincarnation. Reincarnation, of course, giving Vendar a random body, not his original one. And he is now existing in the form of a lean, mean, fire-breathing machine. And so, the party has arrived to try and usurp control of the army from its late leader, Tatsuya. So here we are today to see how a master takes control of a cult. Yukikaze. The floor, as it were, is yours.
Wait, out of character. Wait, that. So he went and everyone was being gathered, calmed down. He ran them through drills.
Yes.
To get them focused.
Yep.
And we're not up on the stage yet now, right?
No, you are still on the beach. You can make your way over there as soon as you are ready. I was giving you the opportunity to muster up and describe that.
Okay, I was getting my scene correct.
Yes, to set the scene, Thandros, having met with Vendar in his new form and told him everything's going to be okay, and that you wish to address the army, has said that he's going to run them through a drill to get them into a listening mood and try and calm down the rampant chaos that has befallen these militants since their leader was absconded into another dimension before their very eyes, his final words being to scream at the top of his lungs, "Tiamat!" as he disappeared into this portal, through which they could see angelic beings menacing him. He wanted to try and get a handle on that situation first. So that is what he is off doing. But at any time that you are ready, so will they be.
Okay. So I'll look at everyone in the party and be like, so are we ready for this?
I suppose as will ever be. Is there anything that you're looking for from the rest of us?
Not too much in particular, other than like review and story straight kind of thing. Anyone have any questions on what I'm going to be doing? A quick idea what I'm going to say, if you wish to know beforehand.
I think that would be helpful so we don't appear to be surprised by anything that you say.
And that's what I was thinking. Alright. So, my main thought process is with this is not going to say anything about us stopping Tatsuya releasing the dragons or anything really negative, because I don't want them to think that we're just trying to smear him and take over. My thought is to be it as in a sense that Tatsuya did his task set before him by Bahamut, and now I have been chosen to come and take the army to the next step. I'm going to let them know, because we believe it is anyways, that this is the path that Bahamut has set before us with sealing dragons. And I'm going to speak about evidence of, I'm not going to say evidence, but for me, for you guys, I'm going to say all the things we've obtained and to show them that these are all things from Bahamut's favor. So like us with our adventuring, getting the grenades and guns that they're wielding, the two armors made by deities, the one Cord and mine Bahamut, and that I have all the gifts of Bahamut, and that I have dragon allies, and I was given by Bahamut the ability to seal the dragons.
To the voice in the sky. Does Laramendos know that this army has guns?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
They may not at this moment, you're not sure, but you do...
Well, so, because Laramendos wasn't around to talk to Vandar's sister.
Well,
he wasn't.
Didn't
So
they use them on the Kraken?
I know, they used the grenades.
You know what? I think you're right. I don't think that that Laramendos had been brought up to speed on the fact that...
He had not. He did not know anything about what all of them did while he was doing his.
So yeah, that is news to you, correct?
Okay.
So when you
mentioned when you mentioned that they have guns, Laramendos will raise his eyebrows and say that was much faster than I would have expected.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't try and interrupt you or anything, but he does seem mildly alarmed by the speed at which this weapon has been reverse engineered.
Okay, I got you. So you just give a surprise look. Do you actually chime in?
No. So he mutters very quietly to himself, but we're all close to each other. That was faster than he would have thought. But he isn't trying to interrupt you.
I got you. So that's more or less what I'm going to go my choice of the speech I'm going to give is just that, Tatsuya is done his part and he's off to do other things for Bahamut, and that I am taking over per Bahamut's wish, and that I have all these gifts and things that I've obtained for this, for the task at hand.
We will likely be asked, possibly not while talking to them now, but later, why Tatsuya shouted the name he did when he was summoned.
That is a wrench.
You said that out loud, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was Laramenda's asking everyone that. I guess there was not a stated question in his statement. There was just a heavily implied question, but...
Laramenda's, what we could do is we can ask, his brother, what's his name again?
Thandros.
We can ask Thandros what the speech was that Tatsuya was given before he left.
Thandros had told us a little bit about what was going on when Tatsuya was disappeared, right?
He did.
Which was basically like he had just gathered everyone, was like getting ready to talk, and then just shouted Tiamat and disappeared or something along those lines. So like there wasn't.
Oh.
He had an hour or so.
Okay.
Of warning before you guys disappeared him. So Thandros told you that he had gathered the army and, in more words, had basically said agents of Tiamat are going to try and sow doubt among you. And that's when the portal opened and he was pulled away, shouting Tiamat, implying that this was part of that. So
yeah,
you will want something to say about that. Or not, because maybe you don't know. I don't know which side of that you want to play. Is it more suspicious to have a perfect answer for it, or not to? I will simply remind people that you are dealing with a cult, and that logic need not be perfect so long as it is backed up with emotion.
As long as you're charismatic enough.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The thing we were in, the place, the demiplane.
Yeah.
Yes.
When that disappears, what happens to everything that was brought in?
The demiplane doesn't disappear. So, Laramentis, you would know this from how frequently we've done this, and like how we've used the spaces. But demiplanes don't disappear. You can continue going to them. And I think that at one point you were probably involved in like arcane discussions with Laramentis at one point, right?
Who knows?
Yes.
Because I think when he would have been
in the Feywild,
like lecturing about so it's entirely reasonable that the topic would have come up then. That basically there's like academic discussions amongst wizards about the nature of like reusing them. Of basically like somebody has left an empty one, and so you can keep going back to that empty one, not knowing that it's like is a demiplane created every time you cast the spell? Is one reused? Is there actually a finite number of demiplanes? Who knows? But we will be able to go back to that one.
This is a topic for philosophers. Luckily, we are philosophers. Let's discuss.
But yeah, so Jebel would know that we can very easily go back to that one.
Yeah, so,
The
like,
requirement
all of-
for going back to one is knowing the contents of it.
Oh yeah, so like, Tatsuya's paste doesn't just get like squirted out with us.
Right. The spell, what the spell creates, and what disappears when the spell ends, is the door to the demiplane. Whether it stops, it doesn't stop existing during that time because, like, people, you can stay in a demiplane, like, you know, a living person. But yeah, no. So the door is what is created and disappeared by
Okay.
the spell demiplane, not the plane itself. Probably.
So now we're questioning what to say about Tatsuya's
Yes.
claims about
If
the
anything.
agents of Tiamat. Well, it is true that we just defeated a devil who was in service of Tiamat. That is
So
technically accurate.
are we saying then that Tatsuya was an agent of Tiamat, turning Bahamut's army to her
We
will?
don't have to say that it was
and-
Tatsuya, but if anyone begins to suspect us, we can drop that we have actually defeated a devil who was in service to Tiamat. Don't have to say who it was. Don't have to give details about.
We could also just push the whole faith thing, or to emphasize their faith, and be that just in when I'm doing my speech, I could say to continue what your leader Tatsuya was saying before he left, is that there will be people and beings that will try to shift or sway your hearts away from this path and never give in. You know, just like add to it. Just add to it.
I mean, I think that would reasonably work, as long as we can make them believe that we are not who I would be concerned that they think that we are, given the timing of things.
We have to understand. They've been told that they're going to kill all the dragons and kill Tiamat. And then he told them to be wary of people who are going to try and waylay them, you know, change things. And then we come along and say, well, we're not going to kill dragons and kill Tiamat. We're just going to put them back to sleep again.
No. We're going to have to kill them, period. So what we tell them is we're going to kill them and then also seal them. We're going to add to it. Because you have to kill them anyways to seal their soul.
Yes, but
I
we
think
won't
that
be
it
killing
is
Tiamat.
reasonable to assume that at least a large portion of the leaders of the army understand the timing nature of things, since the people would need to be aware of that as they're making their plans. So changing the plan to involve sealing them will likely make them believe that that's what we're doing and not. I don't think that that's the tack to take. I think that we should. Not killing Tiamat seems very in line with agents of Tiamat turning an army to her will, as opposed to the fact that Bahamut's will has changed as he has come to understand the toll on the innocent that such a risky endeavor will involve.
Okay, so you would recommend adding in a line of speech that speaks of Bahamut realizing the toll of lives lost for the course of killing Tiamat, and has put me forth to seal them. That's what you're saying I should...
I think that something should be tied to Bahamut's role as a protector of the innocent. We want them to understand that they are still an army in service to Bahamut. And this change in approach is in line with Bahamut's tenets.
Yuki, if you would like to make an insight check with a +3 bonus.
Let's see if the dice are feeling generous today. Come on, look at the dice.
Remember that you have inspiration if you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it. That wasn't any better. This dice is on strike, apparently.
What have you got for me?
11?
11.
And that's including the additional +3?
Uh-huh, I told you, the dice are on strike.
With an 11, and given your the fact that your character has spent a substantial amount of time thinking about this, researching this, and formulating, and that you're now tapping into the insights of your party in earnest, it seems that you can tie in Bahamut's protective nature, the idea that he may have realized that the cost of this plan was outweighing the benefits, ultimately, back to the removal of Tatsuya, by implicating that Tatsuya had been falling into dangerous and paranoid ways that were leading him down a path that was not one that Bahamut had prescribed to him, as a way to tie all three of these things together: the change in plan, the removal of Tatsuya, and the insertion of your group.
Can you please say the key points again? I want to type them out.
Okay. So to tie together removal of Tatsuya, change of Bahamut's grand design here, and insertion of you as its effector, would be that in assessing the cost to benefits, Bahamut noted that Tatsuya was becoming paranoid and dangerous in the way he was going about this and executing this. And so he assigned him to other tasks and is putting you in charge of this. That is a tack to consider that addresses Laramenda's concerns, as well as the fact that Tatsuya gathered his army and tried to warn them that agents of Tiamat, or Tiamat herself, was attempting to undermine what they were doing. It was a good knife, but you have a way to spin it.
So if you roll well on that dexterity check, though.
Spin it like a top.
I'm gonna try my best with this. This is it's actually relatively hard, and Tristan made a good point before. I probably should have, instead of doing it right now in the session, consulted with you guys more between sessions. So I will state what Tristan just said as I'm thinking as a way to spin that. And how do you guys feel about it?
I think that's reasonable. I think that trying to turn them against Tatsuya and implicate him in other ways would be foolhardy, given the fervor that people likely feel towards him, and implying that he is being sent to other purposes is good and helps us navigate the issues with his paranoia.
We're just dismissing his thing about agents of Tiamat.
That would be the paranoia.
I think that we can possibly not immediately while talking to the army as a whole, but I think that it is not unreasonable to emphasize that our work is Bahamut's work, and we might come into contact with people who attempt to turn us away from his will, which is in line with Tatsuya's statements, as long as we downplay the concerns that he had about specific things.
It is just so unfortunate how well it lined up for him.
I think that to dismiss Tiamat's the actions of the agents of Tiamat completely is foolish. This is an army serving Bahamut. They will want to do what they can. And I think that to completely dismiss that line would be concerning to those who are here. But as long as we tie the summoning and our appearance and the shift in goal properly, suspicion would be deflected from us, and so everything is fine.
Have we haven't told
Tandros.
Tandros that. Did we act like we didn't know about Tatsuya being summoned away?
I think we asked him about it. I don't think there's any reason we should not be aware that he was summoned away. If we're showing up here when we do after he was summoned by Bahamut.
If you want to, we could just say something along the lines of, we are aware that he was summoned away, and that do we know that he shouted Tiamat?
We heard him shout Tiamat, yeah.
No.
And
do we, quote unquote, know? Like, has
does our story include us knowing?
Oh. Can I make a religion check?
Yes.
No, it's not a good roll. That is, although my religion's not terrible. That's a 23. So,
That's a terrible roll. It's only a 23.
Yuki,
how is your 11 feeling right now?
But so, what Laramentis wants to know, the way that Bahamut would function with his servants, would we be informed of why we were being sent here? Or not us. Would Yukikaze have been informed about why he was being sent here to take over this position? Or would he basically just be told, you are going here to do this, and be expected to accept and obey?
While divine casters are not a major attendance in the college, study of the way their organizations work from a magical and power of the world standpoint would be a topic of study and discussion. So it is not unreasonable for Laramendus to actually, at least anecdotally, understand that. In general, when people, red clerics and paladins, hear the call of their god, they are often asked in dreams or visions to go to a place and either deal with a problem or spread the word of a god in some way. And at times, this does involve replacing the person who was there at the time before them. And in those cases, it is generally they are informed, you are here to replace such and such priest, and a reason is not often given. It is just,
okay,
the people know this name, you're here to replace them. They're not there anymore.
So if that's the case, then Laramendus would say, I think that we should not know any more than what Thandros told us about the disappearance. I don't think we should be aware of that. We should have been aware of that paranoia before we were informed of these statements, and we might be able to draw conclusions based on things and Yukikaze's need to be here. But those are also likely things that we can skirt around now and address later in other kinds of manners.
The answer is, we don't know why he was summoned away.
Right.
Hmm.
We know that he likely has other duties elsewhere, and we are here to Yukikaze is here to fulfill the role.
As the newly minted expert on cults, Yuki, you are aware that this is very reasonable, that a good cult of a god is going to be accepting of the idea that the gods move in mysterious ways via their material realm speakers, and things can change with and without given reason. So as long as you can charismatically attribute it to the will of gods and just say, you know, this is what I was told to do, I don't know anything beyond that, it's likely to be accepted, as long as it isn't easy to draw a line to malicious forces from there. Mind games are fun.
They are, and now it's just like, now I'm trying to, like, I knew, like, if I wrote some down, I'm gonna be like editing and changing last minute, and all right.
Better to edit and change than have nothing written, though.
I have my ideas of how I want to speak and how I'm going to go about it, but I'm trying to now add the parts that we just discussed. Yes.
Wait, what was the last thing Laramendus said?
What was the last thing Laramendus said? It's an excellent question.
You were explaining the movements of servants of the gods and simply saying that you should not say that you know anything more than you were sent here about anything going on with Tatsuya.
Yeah. I was going to say something and then taxing my attention span. What was I going to say?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jebel just pipes in just that gods are kind of nebulous. I mean, none of us really understand them. And I gesture to Laramendes, and I was like, how well do you understand them?
Laramendes is very thoughtful at that, and says, I mean...
If I roll a 3, I get a 20, so I guess pretty well.
If I roll a 3, I get a 17.
Oh, okay.
So very poorly. I think Laramendes is to say, for a mortal, and in relation to the gods' actions affecting mortals, I think that I have a reasonable understanding of how things behave, but
the gods themselves.
Beyond their tenets and things, which is just mortals' way of grasping what the gods truly desire and are working towards. Honestly, probably very little.
So there you are. If anyone questions you, they're gods. What are you going to do? Bahamut does what Bahamut does. Today, his favorite color is blue. Tomorrow could be pink. If anyone questions it, that's just him. He's a god. Gods do what they do. And you could reinforce that the important part is that Bahamut's will is the important part. That even if he changes his mind, he has a good reason for it. And duty is to obey. They probably eat that stuff up.
Laramendes is like nodding along with Jebel. Everything that Jebel's saying is making sense. And not as circuitous as Laramendes tends to be. Is there anything else that anyone feels like we should all be aware of? Final thoughts before Laramendes looks over at the army?
I'm still a little nervous. Like, I've grown up with like the idea, and my father has taught me well with addressing groups of people, but still a little bit nervous.
Just imagine them all naked.
No, they're freaking humans. Ugh.
You have served... They're not all humans.
They're
You
not
have
all
served
humans.
Bahamut well your entire life. That is the point of your pilgrimage. That is why you are in the position that you are now. And you are going to continue serving Bahamut well and carrying out his will. And that's the crux of everything.
Did we establish what we were going to say Tatsuya's claims about agents of Tiamat? If that comes up?
I think it's more if they bring it up. I'm not gonna specifically
Yeah, I wouldn't
point it out.
go into it. I wouldn't bring it up ourselves, but if it comes up, do you have something in mind? Or
I would say it would be with any cause supporting Bahamut. Of course, agents of Tiamat are going to try to thwart us. it's kind of I don't feel we have to be specific saying anything about it. Just it's common knowledge that
It's reasonable to assume, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
We
No,
should be
that's-
on guard, but our cause is just, and Bahamut will see us through to the end.
yeah.
And if anything comes up, if they start to question us, because, as I said previously, we are sort of, I don't know how much they know again, we are reshifting things. Again, I will say, we have defeated an quote-unquote agent of Tiamat already, so that is something we could probably use to gain a little bit of credibility. Just saying. We don't have to go into details about who that agent was, just that we have been...
Yeah, but without any evidence of that too, it could just be us saying it, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
if you say something
who needs
convincingly
evidence?
enough.
Maybe.
For someone to believe something's true, doesn't mean it actually has to be true. You just have to say it enough.
And be very confident in what you're saying so that they believe you.
That certainly helps, but persistence usually wins out in the end.
Alright.
Mr. Expert on cults, you do know that if the cult is echoing a concern of the former leader whom you, unbeknownst to them, deposed, your best move is going to not be to deny that concern. Not that you're going to. You've in fact discussed embracing it. But I would say, you know, as an expert on cults, to double down against it and simply, and not simply, but to say, to echo their words more forcefully and say something to the effect of, Tatsuya was absolutely right to be worried about this, and you know, that's what we're here to ensure as well, things of that nature. They've already got this fear, you need to then reinforce that fear, and direct it away from yourself.
Fear is the mind killer. You'll let the fear pass into the army and stay there, latch on.
I could also do it in the sense of, say, that's why he's doing other tasks for Bahamut to ensure everything.
I mean, if you're going to play the part of not knowing what or why he was summoned away, then you want to leave that vague as just saying, I'm sure he's off doing something like this on Bahamut's orders.
Yes, to make sure we succeed.
But you repeat their concerns back to them more forcefully as a cult leader and tell them that you are doing something about it, that they can put their
fears
trust
are
in
correct, and you are the answer.
Exactly. You don't need to worry about the agents of Bahamut. Let me worry about the agents of Bahamut.
It's like, I got you, booze, don't worry.
Thing that could be said, possibly, if needed, is that maybe Tatsuya wasn't always meant to lead the army all the way. Maybe he was only meant to bring us people so far.
Yeah, that's what
And
I said in the beginning, is, Jebel, is that where I'm going to portray it as I am the next step in Bahamut's will to finish what's happening.
Right.
I am the next chess piece in the board game of the gods.
That character, the pawn has reached the end of the board and is now a Yukikaze. I think that, or I guess, are you feeling comfortable? He says to Yukikaze.
I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to say and how I'm going to do it. Whether I execute it properly, we can just hope that I do. And hopefully we succeed. Voice in the sky.
That's me.
What I do plan on doing, which I'm hoping will also I'm wondering if this is a thing that's plausible. So I have my skill Inspiring Leader, and it says targets can be companions.
Yep.
Does that also just mean like willing people?
Yeah.
So as I'm speaking, I can pick, like, use my abilities, Inspiring Leader, and just within 30 feet in front of me, pick 6 people spread out to like really like well them up and like, because it gives them HP. So I'm guessing it kind of like makes them feel stronger. Like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I mean, they would definitely be able to feel the power of your charismatic nature in that. That HP is supposed to represent their exhilaration given them by your words. And I would say that a companion, I will allow that to encompass anybody who there are no hostilities in either direction. So as long as you are feeling companionable with them and they are not viewing you as an enemy and they're listening to you talk, then you can use this on them. So you could pick random people in the crowd to buff up, and, you know, that's a good kind of word of mouth kind of testimonial kind of thing, is they're going to tell their friend, you know, man, when he was talking, it really felt good.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be scanning the crowd. Mm-hmm. To use this skill, I'll be scanning the crowd, looking to make eye contact with anyone that seems to be very close to leaning to what I'm saying,
mm-hmm.
and then those people I will buff.
Okay.
So that's
is that a magical thing, or is that just like supposed to be?
It's not. It's a feat, and it's basically martial.
Thing. It's just.
Yeah, you're just real good at hyping people up.
It's like a weird, like.
You think of it as a bard. Bard uses music and words.
Well, yeah. I was just going to say that it's like a kind of a cut rate version of Inspiring Word, the Warlord ability from 4th edition, which you could use to heal people as a non-magical person.
Really? That healed people?
Yeah, it was a martial.
Yeah, warlords were
power.
Martial healers, so you just yelled at people and then they felt better. It's like, I'm like, okay, and then they run in and die.
And that's really what this Inspiring Leader feat is. It's just like a non-combat version of that.
Yeah, the 3/5 leadership feat just gave you minions, I think.
Yeah, I think that's correct. You got 2 hirelings for free, basically.
Am I gonna have to roll before I start speaking or after I start speaking?
You can roll whenever you like.
Because I am thankful that I have proficiency in things that will assist with this.
Yeah. I would say, speak. We'll see how we feel about it. Roll. I'll factor that in, and we'll see where we go from there.
Like if I horribly drop the ball with my wording, which I probably
If at any point you feel like you're not making the points you want to, you can just say, can I roll? I don't know how to word this.
Okay. So has everyone got the idea of the plan? We're feeling good?
I was going to offer the advice. Don't be afraid to get close to the crowd. Get up, hand on shoulder, that kind of thing.
What, like walk through them and
Potentially. I mean, it could be inspiring to actually be among them, to know that you're also, while you might be in charge, you're also one of them. You're with them.
You should also call some of them up so that you can cleanse their demons from them.
Whoa!
They can feel the power of Bahamut, which will compel them. Just go full Southern preacher and mega church on them.
Oh God, no.
It's my next cleric.
I always forget the name of the most famous guy. I shouldn't, but I do.
Has anyone ever done that real quick out of character and whatnot?
Gone to a mega church?
No, made a character that inspired people as a religion and had them fight for them. Like, just command them to fight. And just like...
You mean, have any of us played characters that started a cult?
He started the call was like basically a puppet master.
I mean, the 4E Warlord, again, actually had the useful version of Commander's Strike. And I did play with somebody who played a Warlord who would get the party into these fights and then would not participate except to use Commander's Strike on every turn. Like, you,
Really?
hit that guy. You, hit that guy. Like, he wouldn't do any actual fighting.
Technically, someone here has played a character who has done those things. Alex played Tatsuya for a while. He has actually played a character who has done those things. He
Alex,
just didn't roleplay doing it.
True. That was such a weird part of the game to set up. I'm glad that it went as well as it did, and I thank Alex for being such a good sport about it. But that was a hard thing to juggle, honestly.
Yeah. It was very hard playing a different character.
Especially one that you hadn't created.
And one that I didn't know what like exactly was in the works for him either.
Oh, in the future, yeah.
I mean, I tried to make sure that I didn't give you control of him until it had been revealed the extent of his dealings in this, until it had been revealed what he did and why. So that way you...
Yeah, that kind of made it the hard part.
That made it harder.
No, that made it harder because I'm like, oh, I'm playing a character that basically caused all this. I don't know exactly how to go about it.
You act like you're right, and that everyone is dumb.
Yeah, easy. Cult mentality. You're right, no matter what the idiots say. Anyway, okay. You are feeling good. You're feeling ready. You can see that the army is mustering up and rallying into, listening to orders formation. And so you may begin to make your way away from the docks and toward this stage, this platform.
Do we have telepathy up?
We do not, and given the situation, it was not a spell that Laramentis had prepared, and not as a ritual. So I don't believe that there is a reasonable... I don't think we can take 10 minutes to do that.
You can.
And Laramentis was... I mean...
How abrupt is it? Can you be doing it while we're doing the speech?
I need to be able to touch you. And you're also very visibly doing magic, which is probably not a thing that we want to see. So I mean, like, if looking at the state of the army and everything, it seems like we can take the 10 minutes with no detriment, then Laramentis can cast the spell. But
you can see that they are readying up. You know that they're just kind of going to do what they're told, because even though they're not, like, an officially trained military of a nation, they are a militia that has been following a chain of command. And so if they're told to stand there at parade rest for 10 minutes, they'll do it. They might get a little twitchy if they don't know what they're waiting for, but on the grand scheme of things, maybe 10 minutes isn't so bad. You know that there'll be some suspicion about it, but you also feel confident that it's something that can be hand-waved, given the position of power you are putting yourselves in.
It also does give Seltharis another 10 minutes.
It does give
To show up
Seltharis.
at
You
a
do notice that
dramatically appropriate time.
the flashing light on Yukikaze's wrist as he's been debating this stuff with you has been steadily increasing the speed with which it's flashing.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you're concerned about them seeing you cast magic, there are like 6 other people who can stand between you and...
Oh, I mean, I don't want to cast it when we're up there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to cast it while he's talking, is what I'm saying there. If we're going to cast it, I can do it now.
Yeah, that's sensible.
If no one is concerned with taking that 10 minutes, letting that build, then Larmandus will cast the spell. And I think that he will use a sorcery point on it.
So that it will last longer?
Yep, so it'll last 2 hours.
Okay.
I love fucking sorcery points. They're great.
Let me see, that's...
Wait, I can use a sorcery point on Gate.
To make it last longer. I thought we knew that.
I don't think we talked about it when we were talking about how we could get an army to a place in a short amount of time. Did we? Okay. It's been long.
Yeah.
It's been like a month since that discussion. Anywho. But yeah, Larmandus will cast the spell. So it's 2 hours long. We are under telepathy. Or Rary's telepathic bond, not telepathy. That's a different spell.
So as everybody just kind of puts their hands on your shoulders so that they're all in contact with you while you cast the spell, you place upon everyone Rary's telepathic bond.
So the telepathic communication in telepathic bond is the same as the telepathic communication in telepathy.
Yes.
Like, it functions the same way. So one thing we can do is we can be looking at the crowd, and if we see someone who looks like they're kind of drifting away, or else they're really eating everything up, we can actually communicate what we see to Yukikaze.
You
Yes.
can
we
send
can-
emotions and images, so they would be able to see the crowd more or less from your perspective, through your mind's eye, and see what you're focusing on.
So they'd be able to, so Yukikaze would be able to pick out exactly, like, I just see a guy, and I'd be able to point him out perfectly, because he'd be able to see who I'm looking at.
Because you can transmit images, I would, since images are thoughts and telepathy is thoughts, I would say to that yes, and it would be useful to him because he's seeing the crowd from almost, if you're standing next to him, he's seeing it from almost the same perspective you are, so he can figure out where to look.
Yeah, I can change my gaze. I can change who I'm addressing, like lock eyes and be very persuasive.
Or pump them up with your 30 HP.
Is it 30?
I don't know, however much it is. 3?
21.
Oh, only
21
21.
HP is pretty good.
Yeah. Is that temporary HP? Is that healing? Is that
Temporary, so it's on
okay.
top of what I have.
That's amazing.
I was just trying
Damn.
to figure out if there are other ways that we could help during the speech.
I think that's a good idea about like us making some insight checks as things go to assist with that kind of stuff.
Anybody with, detect thoughts, thaumaturgy, anything that could be used to add emphasis to any point that Yukikaze makes. You can just declare when he says something for example, like, I'm going to use, minor illusion to do a thing when he says that and describe the thing. Like, okay, people are going to find that impressive. Thaumaturgy, minor illusion. I know that Cyrus has used detect thoughts to great effect in the past. So if that was something you were thinking of, Cyrus.
Yep. I was thinking of trying to use detect thoughts at some point through the speech. To let him know what concerns he needs to be addressing.
Yeah, I think
But
that's a
also,
good
if I
way.
get the chance to slip away, perhaps turn to the draconic form to give him some additional muscle and emphasis that way of, we have more help.
Something that I thought about today that I realized I never addressed. But ever since the true polymorph was cast on you, while dragons are by class sorcerers, so the magic works the same way as it always did for you. They don't seem... Your current form doesn't feel that boiling blood ready to explode activity in the magic in you that you felt in your halfling body.
Interesting.
The dragon's body is just more in tune with the harmonies of that magic.
Yep. And in my mind, for sorcerers, it's always been that, like at least in Cyrus's case, that there's just more magic than they can contain. It's part of why you get the hit points and the scales, is your body's, the magic more or less reinforcing the container. But only so much can be done before it just can't hold anymore.
Reasonable. Cat time.
Yep.
Are you just going to be able to hear if we continue?
Yeah, I'll be able to hear.
Cool. Alright. Then.
Oh, I'm going to do minor illusion.
Okay.
Are you going to state what you're doing before we go up there?
Drums. A slow build-up of drums. Start off
All
low,
the drums.
and then just builds up. So that they're not even aware that they're hearing drums.
And then suddenly, they're full of drums.
It's just dum 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 dum. Because
That's how you rally a war march.
Suddenly, all the drums.
like, did you ever see that video of the in the World Cup when one of the teams was knocked out, so they did like the war chant for them?
No.
Oh,
Sorry.
I think it's epic.
I'll have to check it out. So you'll do drums. We'll have some...
And they're not going to know I'm casting.
True.
Archdruid.
The Archdruid can conceal their casting.
Archdruids ignore verbal and somatic
Amazing.
components and material components that do not have a cost or are not consumed by the spell.
Is that not just while wild shape? Is that all the time?
It's all the time and while wild shaped.
It's all the time and also all the time.
Yeah, it's double all the time.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I
Twice
also
as
thought that
all
was
the
just
time.
well wild shaped. That's great.
Twice as all the time.
You get double the all the time that anybody else gets. Bullshit. Okay. So, are you going to begin marching toward your destiny, Yukikaze, cult leader?
Are we gonna start marching? Yes. Am I ready? Fuck no.
Cult leader Yukikaze.
Then, you begin to move away from the docks here, stepping off of the wooden planks that make up the wharf, and onto the sandy soil that bridges the gap from this beach to where whatever the civilization here was looks like a small city once stood. And as you begin to move toward the army, hearing the dull roar of coughs and grunts and chatter that is glared down, as, remember, these people aren't trained soldiers. They are a militia cobbled together out of some trained soldiers, but mostly survivors and relatives of survivors who are angry and want to fight dragons. They don't have the discipline that comes with years of service in an official army. As you're moving toward this slowly swaying, shifting crowd of people at Parade Rest, you are all suddenly struck. A shiver runs through you as an unseasonably wintry wind blows across the island. And you see ice shards crystallizing into snowflakes, making the gust visible as a phantom force. And this phantom force appears to be pulled through your ranks toward the middle, toward Leah. The snowflakes curl around her in a torrent, and in a flash, they seem to transform into autumn leaves, which rain back down toward the ground, where they create a small carpet around her, among your feet, of these crunchy, dried leaves, where they slowly disintegrate and suddenly spring back up as greens and purples and reds of wild flowers, sunflowers, roses, and the wild growths that you saw as you traveled through the forests of the Feywild. As the flowers growing wild at her feet reach the height of their natural sizes, they seem to puff and then burst into a whirlwind of pink and yellow petals that swirl around Leah and obscure her from your view. And as this torrent of pink and yellows and reds rises up toward the heavens, it is pulled away by this same gust. It seems to almost like it's this force with a duration, a length of ribbon seems to be pulled away. And as it rises up into the sky, you see the petals seem to melt, becoming water and then freezing into snowflakes once again. And as they are pulled away, disappearing into the clouds, you see that before you stands Leah, the same, but also different. The strange wind seems to have left her more fey than she had been before, as though that balance between human and elf has had a few weights added to the elven side. Her ears are now a little longer than a standard half-elf, her complexion smoother than it had been, and her freckles seem to have faded considerably. Her normally light blonde hair has darkened to the amber of honey and sap. But the black streak that she gained in Bromdor seems to be still in place. For a moment, as the wind flies off into the sky, as though wind were an object and not a global force, you smell the warm, mellow hints of a pleasant day in late September, despite that it is currently late spring. As this all kind of settles into place and the world seems to return to its semblance of normal, you hear a gentle murmur as of a spring shower, in which you can detect the whispery voice of Zintharamil echoing from the Feywild. He says, "Witness, my dearest friend, and my most powerful warlock. Witness, Leah of House Lumos and Autumn's Elegy. Wherever you go, Leah, you have a home."
Trevor will pause for a moment and go, "Well, that was weird."
What was?
Are you okay, Leah?
Yeah. Think so?
You feel different. You feel similar. Not bad at all. Good, even. But you know something has changed. The extent of your knowledge of that change is entirely up to you.
What, is there something on my face?
Not anymore.
And find a scry mirror. And just use it as a normal
Yeah.
mirror.
Your hair's changed too.
You see,
You're to me more elf than half elf.
you see that your eyes are still the same purple that they have always been, but around them, the edges have been smoothed and yet somehow also sharpened. That your ears stand longer and pointier than they had done when last you looked upon your own face, and that the freckles that dappled across your nose and beneath your eyes are nearly invisible. And then that your hair is not currently the platinum blonde that it had been just moments ago.
As she studies herself in the mirror, suddenly her hair changes back to the platinum blonde. And she gets kind of startled. What?
Are you able to change your features on a whim?
Just the hair, it seems. This reminds me a little bit about how Nalia does it, but my eyes isn't like hers.
I was gonna say, we do know someone who changes their hair color. Interesting.
Lorelei isn't here, or she might have something to say about it.
Yeah.
Curious to see if you need to sleep tonight.
I don't feel like it. But I'm still tired. I'm going to need to resummon Lorelei. I need to speak with someone about this.
I would agree.
It's too bad she doesn't have a father to talk to about these things.
She has a father, but the father is solely confused right now.
The
Yeah,
normal
just
part of
keep
life
looking
when
at the
half
mirror
elves
and,
turn
like-
into full elves.
Yeah, Leah is just fully focused on the mirror now and like touching her cheeks and her hair. Sighing at the black streak, realizing that doesn't go away.
Yeah, what does Raiken know about half elf and puberty?
Absolutely nothing.
What does Raiken know about puberty? Absolutely nothing.
Your hair grows in strange places, your ears get longer.
Dragonborn don't have hair. He's fucked!
Oh no!
So that strangeness, that unexpected change occurs, pausing you all momentarily on your way to Yuki's speech. As you approach the stage they have set up there for addressing the army, you can see there's very nearly 3,000 people assembled here. I was not going to put down 3,000 tokens, so do not bother me about the fact that there are not that many tokens here.
Well, I'm not summoned anyway, so.
Oh, speaking of tokens, I should probably make tokens.
You're
for
not on
this.
this map, but this is the map everybody should be on. I'm sorry.
It was on this map on my screen.
Wait, am I in here? Let me see. Oh, I am. Ah,
Double click on your
I did.
your name. There you go. So, as you approach the stage, Thandros appears to be giving assurances that you have important news for the army coming. He seems to be vamping And as you get close, he kind of looks over his shoulder again and sees that you're almost here, and you can see this visible relief wash over his features. And he gestures to you and steps aside, indicating that you should ascend to the stage.
Before I'm quite visible, I'm gonna slap my face and bang on my chest real quick. Oh.
I'm gonna summon my familiar as well.
Okay,
Raven.
Skith appears. The large raven appearing on your crooked arm kind of looks around, turns its head to the side so that it can make eye contact with you and caws off to the side in your mind. You hear him saying, "What can I do?"
I just need you to circle the crowd. Just scan them. The ones in the front rows, anyway.
Am I looking for weapons?
No, just... if you can keep an eye on them and see... while Yukikaze is giving his speech, just let me know how they're reacting. If you can possibly do that.
I can. Would you prefer that I paid closer attention to the ones that you cannot observe yourself?
That would be...
The front rows seem like you could see them.
Actually, yes.
Very good. It will be done.
Thank you.
He's going to spread his great wings and with a croaking caw, lift off into the air. You see him gaining altitude and then begin circling over the crowd. A couple people in the crowd watching him as he goes and kind of leaning to neighbors and exchanging quiet words.
I'll motion for everyone to get up here and be beside me.
Alright. Those that have control, position yourselves. I thought I was going to make the stage too big. I'm noticing that it's just big enough.
Oh, man.
Raiken, where would you like to be?
Uh,
Oh man, should we make the Dragon 3 in the middle?
oh, man. Triple Dragonborn.
Out of the way, Jebel.
Get out of the way, Jebel.
Are you good with standing between Yuki and your brother there, Vendar?
Hat trick, hat trick, hat trick.
Alright. Leah, you said that you are contemplative right now, so is being in the back row good for her then?
Yeah, at the moment it's yeah, because there's no time to actually summon Lorelai yet. So yeah, she will be in the back, just seem to be a little distracted and not paying too much attention to the speech that's about to happen. She basically looks like a bored teenager to the audience.
Okay.
I will telepath. Actually jumping down off this stage would be a pretty powerful thing. Get close. So maybe keep that in mind.
So Thandros, stepping to the side, is going to introduce you to the crowd, saying, "Army of Bahamut, this is the champion of whom I spoke. Many of you have seen him and his team before, as they have visited us here and spoken with our leader, Tatsuya, who... well, perhaps he can tell us, as he has been sent here on Bahamut's orders." He's going to be, nodding toward you as he says that, that's right, yes?
I'll just say very loudly, "Thank you, Thandros."
He's going to nod and assume parade rest himself.
So, I think I'm going to be a little shocking all to begin with. I'm going to activate my armors because the wings come out when I want them, right? They're not
Yeah,
all
they
the
don't
time.
have to be there all the time, but
Yep, so they weren't
can
out.
be.
So I'm going to activate the armor's wings and its bonus look and effect and levitate.
If you activate the wings and you knock the 2 other Dragonborn off the stage.
No, it's going to be... I believe I have control over them, so I'm going to open them so they're not freaking... I don't want to go too high. Just a little off the ground. Just enough to show, the effect. All right, here we go.
Oh yeah, the crowd, they're like, what's he doing? I think he's standing on his tippy toes.
No, you can visibly see space between my feet and the ground. I am humbled and honored to be in front of so many people with faith for Bahamut to become warriors and fight for his cause and tenets. I have come to you today to help you further Bahamut's path and lead you against the dragons. I have come to take Tatsuya's place to lead everyone. I understand that everyone is feeling uneasy and the turmoil that you might be feeling from Tatsuya being called away by Bahamut. Bahamut has taken him to what I believe is other things he wishes him to do. I have come... Sorry, out of character. This part that we added with I think is throwing me off.
This is the part about taking over, is it?
Yeah, it's the part about how we discussed taking over. I kind of I had a mindset of how I wanted the whole speech to go, but inserting this, I
yeah. Well, you say I have come to
yes.
come to take his place. His job was to get you this far. My job is to take you further.
Yes. I am taking you further from here. And we are going to defeat the dragons and seal them. Now, everyone may be wondering or feeling why this is a bit of a change in Bahamut's wishes. I believe that Bahamut has assessed the cost of the loss of lives from bringing Tiamat at this time to our plane does not outweigh the benefit, and has decided on this course of that the path that I am on is the one that needs to be taken. I've been actively working toward this cause for how long have we been doing this, Tristan? Character?
2.5 months, 3 months.
Okay. I have been doing this for 3 months. A couple of the armaments you're wielding right now were fruits from my labors. The grenades, the magical grenade, is magical, right, Tristan?
Yep.
The magical grenades you used were something that we helped discover. The firearms that you are wielding. I've also, the armor that I've adorned, the gifts of Bahamut that I've worked hard to have earned the right to wear. And we've also had the assistance of another god, my dragonborn brother has, well, I should say brother.
Yeah.
Brother in arms.
Yeah, well, it works.
Brother in arms is wielding the armor of Cord, another gift from another god, to further our cause in stopping the dragons. I also have obtained, and with Bahamut's favor, dragon actual, or I should say, allies that are dragons. And
Your wrist is still flashing.
one will be on its way here soon. And as I'm doing this part, I'll be looking around and doing inspiring leader. It's like, you've all done so great in gathering together and strengthening yourselves, learning tools and becoming great warriors of Bahamut. And you're ready to fight these dragons and put them in their place and put them out of our, take them from our world. And save everyone from their tyranny and destruction. At this point, I will just, I would say I would just do a little more bolstering as a character.
Okay.
I don't feel, I think I covered everything.
Are you? Yeah, you want like those little
Yeah.
pep talk things. Have faith in Bahamut. Have faith in yourselves. Have faith in each other.
Everything you're doing is right. Everything you've done so great. And we're here to make your wishes come true.
Skith will indicate for you people further back, further on the outside of this crowd, ones who seem to be drifting, ones who seem particularly inspired, just anyone who's reacting, and more or significantly less than the rest of the crowd, and you can convey that to Yukikaze as who to direct his inspiring leader feature at.
Yeah, because I can see what Skith can see.
Yeah.
And then I can project that to Yukikaze. And I've done the drum thing.
Yes.
So it's a very subtle drum beat.
Right.
Like it's not big loud, but like
it's
there.
slowly building, right?
It's slowly built up over a minute.
Okay.
And as they also point people out, I'll direct my attention. You've lost people, or you've known people that have been affected by what the dragons have already done. Like, and target people and say that and be like, and we're going to make them pay for what they have done.
Oh, yeah, as he says that, like, if he says something like that, can I read the crowd to see if anyone reacts to him pointing out that people have been lost?
Oh, definitely.
Anyone...
You can immediately, you don't even have to try hard. You can see there are, even right in front of you, spreading all the way back, people dotting throughout the crowd, little clusters of people. Some who, seem hit by that and become sad. You see them, the shoulders kind of slump a little, the face fall. You see others who seem to nod enthusiastically in agreement, usually with a kind of an angry face, and you see others who just sort of work themselves up into like a little mini ball of rage. You see the whole gamut of emotion to thinking about the people close to you who've been lost, or the people close to you who've been affected by those losses being played out in the crowd before you. Cyrus, you're scanning the crowd with your detect thoughts, and you're hearing, you're hitting kind of the full spectrum. There are people who are like, yes, good. I was a little worried about the way things were going with Tatsuya. From the people who are excited about this new path to people, you find little pockets of people here and there who are just saying, but what happened to Tatsuya? Like, why is this guy here? Is this what we should have been watching out for? Are these the agents of Tiamat?
Alright, and I will use a telepathic bond to convey that. Though it's also worth mentioning that I would be extending the range on detect thoughts to try and reach as many as I could.
Okay. Is that a sorcery point thing? What do you mean?
It is a sorcery point thing.
Oh, okay. Then, cool. So you can hit a good portion of this crowd. Remember, there's about 3,000 people there. They're all spread out wide and deep back in front of you. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of fidgety movement. And it's just a lot of thoughts. But you're going, sweeping over. So you're kind of hearing one person at a time as you just sort of dot over them back and forth like a corn cob. But you are, again... there are the notions that stand out most to you are the people who are worried about the last things that Tatsuya said before he was pulled away, and that you guys suddenly appeared, and mostly it's is this what we're supposed to be watching for? Why are these people here? Where's Tatsuya? And bear in mind that suddenly answering that question could be bad.
Okay.
Well, I also already stated it once.
Well, yes, but there's still going to be people questioning. Questioning what they're hearing is all I'm letting you know. But it does mean that you can put a little more emphasis there, or it just means that you should wait for that question to be raised directly if they're going to. Let's kind of, you tell me, are you going to
If Cyrus says something to me also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm letting you know the information I'm finding. That's the entire purpose of finding it. But I'm letting you decide what you want to do with it.
I'm gonna do the faith path, Tristan.
Okay.
I'm gonna do statings like that have faith in Bahamut's decisions or his have faith in Bahamut's tenets, and we're going to save as many lives as we can and protect those weaker than us and save lives.
Okay.
And do I need to roll persuasion or anything?
Yes. I would like you to roll persuasion. With your friends all helping you here, I want you to take a bonus of 15 on it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so that's 39.
Okay.
I rolled a 13 with 11 for my persuasion because I have proficiency in it, and then the bonus.
Oh no, I trust the number you've given me. It's good, because the target was 36.
Oh, I am glad I have proficiency in that.
So,
Oh, damn.
as you start to roll into the speech, you can see there's a lot of uncertainty in the crowd. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of worry. There's a lot of distrust in faces. There is also trust and excitement and enthusiasm, but there is a notable amount. You were not coming into a crowd that was ready to just accept you outright. But what you find through the 10 or so minutes you spend expounding on what it is you're going to accomplish through them in the name of Bahamut, that a great number of these patches of dissent, we'll call them, are going to soften and flip. With the help of the observational skills of your friends, and the planning that you put into this, you are able to sway the hearts of the majority of this army. It was a near thing, so there is still some dissent out there, but by and large, by the end of the speech, with the help of Cyrus and Skith and Jebel here, that this army is ready to hear your plan and follow through on whatever orders you give them, and that any pushback you get from that is going to be more isolated pockets that will probably go to Thandros to voice their concerns as opposed to coming to you.
Right.
And this is all understanding that you've gained through all of the time you spent studying and understanding how to be an effective leader and how cults function.
Okay.
For the telepathic bond, I am going to ask, do we take questions, or do we just...
No. Alright, I'm going to say no, I don't want to take questions. That'd be bad right at the moment.
You know that...
Probably with a dragon arriving.
Right. Thank you. I actually did plan for that to happen about now, so thank you for the reminder. So as you're kind of wrapping up, and Jebel asks you if you're going to take questions, and you say, no, we're not taking questions, the crowd is kind of, you can see the bubbles of excitement, the people talking, Thandros trying to, keep them contained, keep them quiet, and acting like the army that they really aren't. And you can see that there are those pockets of dissent kind of preparing to, strike with their questions that will crumble your whole argument. And as that mishmash kind of begins to spiral in front of you, there is going to be a cry, from around the middle of the crowd as several people look up and begin pointing toward the sky. And you're going to see this flash of gold as the early morning sun is reflected off the wings and body of this gold dragon that seems to have appeared in the sky and is slowly circling above the crowd as though deciding where it wants to land. And as you observe this dragon, you look down and you can see that the bracelet on your hand is no longer flashing. It is just glowing solid and steady.
Do people look uneasy?
Several of them... Well, it's a dragon, so yes, a lot of people look uneasy, but you do see that several of them are pointing and looking excitedly and shaking. You can hear snips of conversations. It's a gold dragon. It's good. It's with us.
Anyone, I'll also speak, is like, be at ease, everyone. This is our ally.
And as you say that, raising your hands to get their attention, the bracelet on your hand becomes a beam of golden light that rises up into the sky, and the dragon comes to spin her arc around it and then follow it down, almost as descending a spiral staircase.
So I'll, as she lands and everything, I will say, sorry, this is why I can't take any questions. I have to discuss important matters with our ally at the moment, and we'll get back to everyone later. And with that, I will proceed to land and walk over to greet her.
She lands, and the whole crowd is just sort of awed by this dragon standing before them. Seemingly, they have ignored what you just said about not taking questions. And Seltharis, straightens herself up so that she is standing there in this very, prominent, regal, cat-like posture. Rising her head up as tall as it will go, while keeping all 4 feet on the ground. And she looks over the crowd before turning her head towards you. And, this almost sardonic expression, if such a thing can be held by a reptilian face, as she looks at you. And she says, "Did you not summon me to speak your praises to the army? To encourage them that they are doing the work of Bahamut in thwarting the designs of his sister Tiamat by following you into battle against her children?"
If you don't mind, I would very much appreciate that. I did seem to be winning them over already, but the more enthusiasm, the more we can bolster them, the better.
She's going to, turn more fully to you as you say how you are already winning them over, and she's just going to, snort a jet of smoke towards you, almost like a laugh.
I think you. And with her laugh, I'll say, yeah. With you coming, I think also kind of sealed the deal too.
I am here because you and your group, Champion, serve Bahamut, and I wish to aid you in your cause. It was not long ago that you and your friends saved me from the grasp of death, and so I recognize and respect the work you do in the name of Bahamut, Yukikaze of the Nagareboshi.
And I thank you for coming and for being so willing to help.
In case it is not clear, because it may not be, she is talking to you in what might be lovingly called a stage whisper, in that she is in fact addressing the crowd as she says this, because she wants them to know all of these things about you that you probably, in her mind, did not say.
Okay.
Things that will
Meant to
reassure
let you
them
save the
that
dragon.
you're both supposed to be here and can be trusted.
Okay. Would you like me to introduce you to the army?
You're going to see the fangs of this great maw bared in what can only be described as a draconic smile, as she says, "I hardly imagine that the Guardian of the East, Seltharis of the Golden Scale, would need an introduction to such fervent followers of her progenitor. But if you wish to introduce her and expound upon her great service to the world of Amaranta, she would not be disinclined to listen to what you have to say."
It would actually be my own personal honor to introduce you, even if people already know you.
"Then please take the honor."
So I will step forward in front, down below her level, and show a bit of reverence, kind of, because, it's an honor to have her here. So, actually, I'm going to be kind of humble about it and kneel and, put my arms toward her and then say her title. I can't say her title exactly like you can, Tristan.
The Guardian of the East, Seltharis of the Golden Scale.
Yeah, okay, yes. Seltharis of the East, Guardian of the Golden Scale. Our ally and our crap. I'm with I am without words of how honored I am here she is to help us.
There is a pregnant pause. The crowd slowly begins to cheer and whoop as they are introduced to this dragon of legend. You remember from your previous dealings with her that she, as many gold dragons are, enjoys walking among the mortals, usually taking the form of a mortal. But while her name is widely known, many, even those who have probably seen her before, would claim to never imagine meeting such a creature. Because while when you know what you're looking for, Seltharis especially is quite easy to spot when in disguise, as she likes to adorn herself in gold, to the untrained eye, she simply tends to look like an overtly wealthy person of random race. She is going to straighten up and very showily breathe a gout of flame and an arc into the air, and addressing the army, she says, "It is on this day that you are united under the banner of this champion Bahamut, Yukikaze. You will aid himself and me as we travel to the heart of the enemy's strength and rip it out with gnashing teeth and tearing claw. We will, as ever we have before, thwart the plans and the malicious designs of Tiamat. She will not set one forbidden claw upon this material plane that we all call home." And as she concludes this tirade of ferocious intent, the crowd is whipped into a general and raucous cheer. The pockets of dissent have shrunk further to singular or 2 to 3 people with arms folded over their chests and scowls. Everyone else seems to be fully convinced by your speech and hers. Thandros, seeing that your speech is done, and that the energy built up should be put to use, is going to call attention back and try to direct that energy into renewed vigor for their drills, reminding them that there isn't much time, perhaps 3 more days, before they intended to board their boats and head north for Ebengard. This gives the party a chance to move away from the army as they return to their regular duties and no longer need to focus upon you. And you may address one another or Seltharis, who will also accompany you, shrinking herself down into a... I don't know. What's she feeling like today?
We have a wonderful table that you can roll on.
You're right,
Golden
Sam.
grung.
You are right, Sam. There is a wonderful table. Tell me what a 28 is.
A 28. A 28 is a stout halfling.
A stout halfling. Gnomes, half demons, half orcs, halflings. Stout halfling.
That kind of works
me.
out because after being so impressive, she's humbly making herself small.
So, you are able to depart the stage without anyone bothering you. You are able to be joined by Seltharis. She moves away first and seems to wait for you to join her. taking the form of a stout halfling with a golden braid running down her back and wielding a sword with a gold blade and a shield with a golden dragon emblazoned upon it. Looking like a member of this army who takes it a little too seriously because that sword has to be way heavy, being made of gold, and also just terribly useless because gold is horrifically soft.
Look, if you have a magic gold sword, though,
I can't be destroyed.
it's the same as steel.
Oh my goodness. But she stands...
It's still heavy.
She stands there with her arms folded over her breastplate. And watches you approaching with her golden eyes. It was quite short notice, but I made the trip, as I promised I would, in thanks for saving my life.
It's much, like I said over there, it's much appreciated, because we were also pressed in time with the tasks we had to do.
You become aware that the bracelet is gone from your wrist, that when the beam shot up, it transformed into a pillar of light and disappeared. This seems an important time to be involved. If you need me, I will stay to see this through. I have made about as much headway with anyone else as I could. Unfortunately, my brother Hans... Actually, I was about to say the wrong name. Sorry. I'm about to say the name of a completely different dragon. Not the one I wanted. Where are my powerful people? There we are. I want west. Nashir. That's it. Unfortunately, my brother Nashir is no longer with us. Amaranta has lost a powerful force for good.
That's terrible news.
It's horrible. Do you know why he is gone? What caused it?
Those working for Tiamat, finding the scales to release her. He tried to stop them. It was one of his duties to ensure the safety of the scale of Kerasoth. As such, he was a member, she says, making air quotes with her fingers, of that branch of the Platinum Sentinels. Honestly, we believed that one to be the safest.
What one's Karasoth again?
The Red Dragon.
Red Dragon.
The one we almost made a deal with, but changed our mind.
A new deal presented itself in a less death-inducing manner.
Well, Seltharis, I would be honored and would love to, or would very much, love to have you fight by your side to seal them back where they belong.
I should hope you, as any mortal, would be honored to fight alongside such a legendary personality as myself. This world is desperate for hope, and you need to represent it. Not just you, Yukikaze. All of you.
So I speaking in response to saying if you needed for you to stay, and the answer is 100% yes.
Very well. Then, I assume that you have a plan. You have what is needed to seal these dragons.
Yes, we do.
Sending is limited to only so many words. Perhaps you can use more now.
Voice of Sky, did we tell her everything that happened with, like, the blue dragon and whatnot?
I think that was the implication with the sending being limited in scope.
Okay.
You have not. Last time you saw Seltharis was Arngahir's oasis, like 2 months ago. And she said that she was going to...
We've sent to her since?
I don't think you've sent to her.
Other than, like this time?
Yeah, this time obviously, yes, but I can't immediately think of other sendings to her. Maybe one, maybe. But, no, you haven't been in her presence to tell her what's going on. She told you that she was going to check on her brother Nashir, the Guardian of the West. The Lord of the West, excuse me. She had not been in contact with him since well before this deal with the scales came up, and she was worried.
So, Seltharis, to start with, I wanted to let you know just what has happened in the time that we've been apart, just so you have an understanding of the current situation. So there is still one scale sealed. Tresnor is still Wait, did I get the right name?
Yes.
Yeah, Tresnor is still guarding it. And
Of course, the wizard yet lives. He would not have the decency to die.
he is actually dead, though, as a lich.
I am well aware of his condition.
I apologize, I did not know you knew.
Well, she did eat him.
No, she ate the guy who killed her. Tresnor is not the same guy.
Oh, no, it's Tristan we were talking about. I thought we were talking about the other lich. Did you use some more lich, please?
No, we were talking about the lich that has the scale of Whittemere.
Right,
Which is
yeah.
hopefully not that lich.
Hopefully, that would be really a bad twist.
He just shows up at the final battle like, fuckers! And then throws it down.
So,
Suck it! And then just flies away.
and
White dragon appears.
we have 3 other scales. We did run into a complication where we made a deal with one of the broods of the blue dragon. Please insert name, Tristan.
Elsamanth.
Elsamanth.
The one that you met with was Azurai.
Yeah, okay, so I'll say that we met one of the broods of Elsamanth named Azurai, and in that situation, we gave them the blue scale to get 2 other scales. It was regrettable to do it that way, but it was the best option we had at the moment.
You see a lot of emotions playing across her halfling face at this point. A lot of it looks like disappointment. A lot of confusion and outrage. Gave up. One of the scales you need to seal the children of Tiamat. But you gained 2 more.
Yes.
And your plan for this one that you gave up, when shall you retrieve it?
Well, I felt after we dealt with the others, if Azurai was not involved in the current state of things and the way Azurai was talking.
What way was Azurai talking?
Lara Mendes has very good memory. He could probably tell you exactly what he said.
Eidetic is the correct word.
So yeah, I'll say Lara Mendes has eidetic memory, and he can tell you exactly what he said.
Out of character, I think Lara Mendes needs to just like have a sign next to where that bus is. That's just this is his hole. It's his shape.
Well, you're a champion of my own. You should love it.
Are you telling me that dealing with dragons and giving them bad news isn't your actual favorite thing to do? I like the idea that Cyrus here is just looking at you, very sorry, just like, I'm glad I'm not you, bro.
You have my pity.
I'm glad I'm not you, bro.
I'm just gonna move slightly out of the fire range.
I mean, cones are wide.
What's a cone that contains Lara Mendes, and what's outside of that? So, I suppose Lara Mendes will say, at the moment, the leaders of the various countries are beginning to talk amongst themselves.
She's going to hold up a hat and wave it back and forth, like, no, this is not what I asked about. In what way did Azurai speak of your relationship?
I'm trying to figure out what exactly I know that would answer the question. Lara Mendes is going to
singed
answer
versus
the question.
incinerated. Is that the scale we're looking at right now?
Shovel can always reincarnate.
At the table. Lifespan changes from another 400 years to another 10.
Looks like you became a human, and a human who's 305 years old
You
is
chose poorly.
It's a good thing you took out that life insurance. Ooh.
Oh shit! What? Yeah. The clone is an elf. What happens if you have a fully matured clone?
Mm-hmm. And then get reincarnated?
Oh, but if you have but you wouldn't be able to because you would go right to the clone.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to be reincarnated. Never mind.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the point of the spell. It solves that problem.
It does.
Disincentivizes the druid from fucking with you.
It's true. Unfortunately, you still need another
not a fully
100
mature
days
clone.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens if you're reincarnated into something else while it's maturing?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly magic. Sounds like it's up to me. Either the clone just spontaneously changes into your new form, or you get launched back into your old form. I'll flip a coin. Because God absolutely does not play dice with the universe. He flips coins.
Until he is amused by the answer.
Exactly.
So is this all hypothetical talk, or is this actually?
Oh yeah, that was all out of character hypothetical talk. Seltharis wanted to know
how
what
it was that Azure I was talking about your relationship and receiving the scale.
Lara Mendes will tell her what Azurai said.
Oh, excellent. So, you, who I am for the moment beholden to, are now part of a blue dragon's horde.
I mean, out of character, he didn't say that in so many words. He implied it heavily. To the point where to assume that it was not true is purposefully dense. But
Purposely dense we can do.
Seltharis, I do want it to, because I don't believe it's heavily common knowledge of all the things Bahamut has left for us Dragonborn. An heirloom, I would like to inform you of it if I didn't already. I do have an heirloom that has been passed down through my family and has been used throughout the years to go through trials and stuff. But it
The point, get to the point.
It is able to detect and locate the scales wherever they are. So even though the blue one is not in our possession, we have a way to follow it and get it.
Very good. I'm sorry. I live a long time, but that does not mean I need to listen to every word someone says. Now then, you can find the blue scale. That is good. What did you promise Azurai? Why does Azurai want the scale of Ilsementh?
Azurai's stated intent is to allow Elsementh to remain.
Why?
When his siblings are sealed.
This does not make a great deal of sense. For you see, in case you are not aware, it's possible you are all short-lived little creatures, but chromatic dragons very infrequently get along, and most especially do not like being lower in their hierarchy than another dragon. Why would Azurai want his progenitor here? He is more free with Elsementh sealed, dead. Did any of you find this information?
That's actually a good point.
So that means no? Perhaps that should be on your list of things to do. I know you have very long list of things to do. Save world, kill dragon. So maybe number 3 can be figure out why Azurai do this thing. Having the 7 of you and myself as part of his horde, obvious benefit, but a horde is not worth much if you might have to give it over to your ruler. But perhaps this has more to do with Elsement himself.
I want to say on my end, at least, I guess I am very ignorant of a lot of things I should know about dragons.
You traded 1 scale for 2. This was sound business. She's going to, take her small form up to you and reach up and grab your dragonborn hand and in one and pat the back of it with the other. This was good. You can now seal more of the dragons. And the only one that is missing is this Elsement scale, yes?
Yes.
Okay. 1 dragon. 1 dragon we can figure out. 5 dragons would be a cataclysm. She's going to, there's this very obvious moment of kind of, slowing herself down, kind of collecting herself. She goes, I am sorry, for coming on so strong and aggressively. This is a
Understandable.
difficult situation. Yes. Sorry, Leah, you said something?
I just said understandable.
You have all proven yourselves to be more than capable heroes for this world, and I should know by now to trust you well to continue doing that. And so, a creature much older than perhaps she deserves to be, a creature older now than she would have been without your intervention, apologize for my conduct just now. I owe you that much at least, and almost certainly more. I am not used to being beholden to mortals. I am even less accustomed to being truly impressed by them. Surprised, worried for, incredulous of. These are emotions that I am familiar with regarding you. Impressed, it is hard, it is rare. So, all of that to say, I am sorry, and you should be proud of what you have accomplished.
I thank you for saying that.
The loss of Nashir has been very hard on me. And I have been all over Amaranta, trying to ensure your victory in what small ways I can. The factions of metallic dragons, they have been comfortable for the last millennia. Too comfortable. And many now are loath to rise to action, despite that most of them can see its necessity. I can guarantee that you will have the aid of the gold dragons. You will also have the aid of the copper dragons. I have thus far been unsuccessful in rallying the silver dragons. At large, I should say. Whole factions, individuals, yes, there are those that owe me favors. Just detailed perhaps that is not necessary, but I wish to give you better understanding. It is not an outright One of my own is seeing to the brass dragons as we speak. We shall know soon if they will join us. That blue dragon is a shrewd business lizard. Not only must I be impressed by you, now I have to be impressed by Azurai. Who is even Azurai? Grandson of Elsamanth.
Okay. Yeah, alright. I'll say, yeah, the grandson of Elsamanth.
Grandson of Elsamanth. Nobody. They say when you live long enough, you are either remembered forever for your many, many great deeds, or you question what has become of your life as you are suddenly beneath the notice of a grandson of Elsamonth. I do not like it. Once you have saved Amaranta from the children of Tiamat, we are to pay a visit to this Azure Eye.
Okay.
I am not part of this bargain he has made, and I need that to be absolutely clear.
Okay.
I can help train these soldiers, if that is what you think is best for me to do. I could help you strategize. Magical consultation, I can cast many spells. What is the method by which you would ask my assistance over these next, what did that human say? 3 days. And she's going to be watching the soldiers run drills and spar, train with their weapons with one another. And say, that is not enough.
I would not speak to say that I am anywhere as skilled as you as a fighter, but the simple task of training them, I think, would be better off for us. But your great wisdom, the knowledge that you have, strategizing, I think, would benefit us a bit more, as I feel that some of our decisions have been a little lackluster. At least that's how I feel. If anyone else has any other opinion.
Having several thousand years of knowledge to share probably be useful. Jebel, sorry.
Well, it might do them some good to practice with an actual dragon.
Well, Cyrus can transform into one to...
Well, then 2 dragons. Twice as good. Twice the lesson.
Technically, he is a dragon. He's the spell.
She's going to... You're very quiet, just so that you know, Vendar. But she is going to, at this point, kind of focus on you, Vendar. For the first time, she's really been kind of focused on Yukikaze for most of this, and Mendis. And then there was a lot of kind of introspection or staring into the middle distance as she ranted. But now she really takes notice of you, and you're kind of going to see this halfling's nostrils kind of flaring in an almost unsettling way as the gold eyes seem to bore into you. And she's going to say, yes, this is a good suggestion. They are going to fight dragons. They should practice on real dragons. I hope they have good healers. You smell like one I have met before, but I do not know your face, she says, her eyes still boring into you, Vendar.
Yeah, you'll remember me as Vendar Draknir. I used to be human, but recent events, there was a incident with an archdevil and some explosives, and then I was reincarnated, and now I'm a dragonborn.
She's going to move through the group and move up to you. And she's going to gesture you down to her level. She's going to take hold of your face, your snout, your jaw in her halfling hands. And you're going to feel as her fingers move over the scales and spikes on your jaw that are there now. And she's going to turn your head gently from side to side as of a doctor examining for sickness. And she is going to say, "You are Vendar Draknir, regardless of the form you inhabit. You can wear your form proudly, maintain your noble bearing. Know that this incident of which you speak, you made a choice, did you not?
Yeah, I did.
And
it worked out.
That choice, it saved people from this archdevil you spoke of.
Yeah, it killed it dead.
Then your sacrifice, this price you have paid for this choice, it has been well worth it. Not because I love to see the scales of a dragonborn on your face, but because those scales represent the honor of your heart and your willingness to protect others, especially those who trust you. That is what I see. That is what you should remember whenever you look at this new face. Do not lament what you have lost, for it was given freely, and the price paid willingly, and lives protected by that cost. This is the heart of a dragon. This is what all metallic dragons do. We protect. Our sacrifices are not always of our lives, but often, and she will transform her arm. You'll see scales growing in place of the clothing there, as it becomes like a miniature version of her draconic arm when she's in her full dragon form. And you'll see missing scales, deep scars, and near her shoulder, a discolored patch of gold scales that have been blackened and look, if such a thing were possible, gangrenous or cursed. There is always a price, but the reward is lives, and lives have no price, Lord Draknir. Can you not agree that this is so?
I definitely think it was worth it. I've grown a lot. Krasny definitely never would have sacrificed himself for others, but times change. I think it's for the better.
She's going to nod. She says, I understand that you are still getting used to things, and feel you have lost something important. But I want you to hear these words. She's going to take she's going to transform that arm back into a halfling one, and she's going to slap you lightly on the side of the face. Stop sulking. You did a good thing. You stopped the this devil. You protected people. And this, buddy, this is not your punishment. It is your trophy. It is proof. Wear it proudly. People only question you if you let them, and when you question yourself, you invite it. I wear many forms. I am a halfling now. I can become a dwarf. You think, oh, you're lucky. You can change whenever you want. This is true. Actually, I don't have argument against that. But, point is, no matter what form I take, tiny halfling, I have to make you bend down just so that I can smack your nose. I still wear the pride of a gold dragon. Let your scales reflect the sunlight. Let the world see it. That is all the pep talk I have. You are doing good.
Thank you.
She's going
Means a
to.
lot.
She's going to like pat the end of your snout and turn from you, indicating that you no longer have to be crouching down at her level.
I'll stand back up.
As for the rest of you, you are also doing good. But you know, he made the sacrifice. Now then, I believe that's all the time we have for this evening. Morning. I will consult with your soldiers, I will consult with you, and we will make the most out of whatever it is this time you have. Guard well what scales you possess. They will be needed ere long.
Striking.
What?
You know what? You know the foods that only a Dragonborn can appreciate? Now Vendar can appreciate them.
Like meat?
Well, some things that are more unique to our tastes. But yeah.
I
I
like
could
meat.
appreciate meat beforehand.
But not like a dragon.
Yeah, not like Dragonborn.
Your spice tolerance is now through the roof because you're resistant to fire damage.
I am
That's
retired
how it
pregnant.
works.
Wonderful.
That I could be resistant to it whether I want to. Like at some points, and not at others. That's real weird when I'm eating.
But yes, it's 10:30, so I think we can call it there. Everybody have fun.
That's bad.
All right, good session. Everybody take your 5,000 XP. Those of you that still need it.
Tack it
Not
on
enough
to
for
my.
21, are you?
Yep,
It's
going to
weird,
level 21.
Yeah, it's weird that I'm not needing XP anymore.
Oh yay! I got XP. I'll not do anything with that. I
I'll
guess.
just put
I'll
that
just
with
go ahead
the others.
and pay with all the rest.
It could be a prestige. You keep track of it and keep it as a prestige.
If there were more
I'm
levels,
Prestige
level
class
20
into
is
Mystic
fucking
Courage.
fine.
I'm gonna prestige. Shit! I'm level 1 again. Why didn't they warn me?
But now all of my cantrips have a little like star next to them when I cast them.
Yeah, it's like new game plus.
Get those gold
Okay.
weapon skins.
Those gold cantrip skins. Alright. Then, with that, good session. Bye, stream!
Nice.
Goodbye.